Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Game Reviews. This is Daily Game Review number 82. Today we have Pava 18Q versus Leethargo 14Q. So let us go ahead and get started. So 18Q versus 14Q, it's a little bit of a gap, but I think at this level, both players, as long as you stick to the basics, you will do fine. So alright, we see Pava going for a near Ensei, and White's playing this one. So I've said this many times before in the past videos, guys. Try not to give your opponent such an easy approach, especially as white, due to the fact that when you do this, it kind of encourages your opponent to approach with support. So I feel like this is too easy for your opponent to do, and we're supposed to stop our opponent from doing good stuff and do good stuff ourselves. So it's kind of like putting yourself at a slight disadvantage, maybe a couple point disadvantage. So it's not a major issue, but it's not recommended since it's something you can easily prevent. So I highly recommend not playing the 3-4 that just encourages your opponent to approach you with support. Alright, so black did do that, and white seems to go for a Moyo or influential type of opening. So we'll see how this goes. And a Tanuki. So this is a little bit strange. So white, your combination's a little bit lacking. So the first thing we need to think of is, what are we doing? So we're trying to make territory, right? We're trying to make a combination. And here we need to think our opponent approached us, so we need to defend ourselves. So you defended yourself in this way, which said, I'm going to build the bottom, which is fine. But now you probably need to extend the bottom or seal the corner or something like that. You need a base, right? So this would be a seal the corner type move, and also kind of takes black space. And an extension on the side would probably be over here, but your position is not settled. When you Tanuki like this, if your opponent goes here, your opponent can easily take your base and make you weak. So black, black can take your base, take your corner points, and make you weak all at the same time. So it's not worth leaving yet. You're not alive. Your opponent can push you around. Therefore, you have weakness, and you don't want to leave weakness behind. Also, on the top, it's recommended that when you're on your opponent's side, unless you're reducing or playing very lightly, it's normally the third line. It's much easier, much safer, and much easier to live and make a base and make eyes. So I would recommend the third line here rather than the fourth line. But the bigger issue is you ignored this corner when it wasn't finished. All right, so black plays here, perfectly fine, and white plays high. I recommend playing... No, I'm not going to recommend that. This is fine. This is fine. And then that's not... Now you extend here. This is why I was okay with it. Because remember, you need an extension or 2 space high. You needed an extension from these stones to make the influence on the bottom. And this Joseki ends with you getting an extension. You do lose Sente, so normally I don't recommend it. However, here I think it's fine because you get the extension and it's a good combination. Actually, I just noticed black played that. Black, it's a 2 space extension, not a 3 space extension. A good way to remember is 1 stone jumps over 2, 2 stones jumps over 3, 3 stones jumps over 4, and 4 or higher is considered thickness or wall, and you kind of just do a basic extension from there. But anyway, here you have 1 stone by itself, and so you want to make a base, and that is a 2 space extension. 1, 2, jump over 2. So a 3 space extension is a little too much because your opponent can still come in like this and split you and attack you. Anyway, so it looks like both players here need to learn Josekis. These are free things online that you can easily look up. Just go to josekipedia.com or edigo.com, or maybe there's some other Joseki dictionaries out there, or buy a book on like 30 basic Josekis in the Elementary Go series, or Get Strong with Josekis. There's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of material to learn opening Josekis and variations. You can look them up for free. All you have to do is just put in a little bit of effort. And I think that's highly recommended for you guys because it looks like neither player knows their basic Josekis. And the reason this is important, is because it's something that you're able to study, so it shouldn't be such a major weakness in your game. Here, however, it looks like neither player knows how to play the proper Joseki, and if you don't know a proper Joseki, then how could you even begin to make a combination in the opening? Because the Josekis will create a nice, solid, strong position, and then you choose the Josekis that work together in the opening to make a good, solid, and strong opening. But if you don't even have basic Josekis, then your opening is going to be crazy, have no combination, and have weaknesses laying around everywhere. So I highly recommend looking those up, guys, after each and every game. If you don't know it, look it up. All right, so white Tanuki'd again. And black plays here. Black, third line and fourth line in the opening. Fifth line's too high. It's very easy to come under and invade you later and take all your points. Normally, the knight's move like this is meant to try and attack your opponent, but there's no attack. You're not even anywhere in here. White can just simply come back and he's completely alive with something like this, or maybe even jump up. White's completely fine. So black, you're not making any points, and you're trying to attack something that's not really weak yet. So therefore, I don't recommend this. I recommend a third line or fourth line move here. Those are the normal moves. And here, I'd probably recommend a third line since you really want to get back and fix this and then attack white's bottom, or just get to the bottom right corner somewhere. So third line for Sente. White goes in the 3-3. White, I wouldn't recommend a 3-3 when you're kind of light. So this type of position is considered a type of light position because it's a 3-space extension, which means black can still come in somewhere. Black can still come in somewhere up here. Therefore, when you choose a 3-3, it's expected that black will probably cut you off and then attack these two stones kind of harshly. So I don't recommend giving your opponent thickness next to weakness, because this is kind of light, but it still has some weakness inside of it. So something, perhaps something like this would be a little bit better. Just make your position light and then leave it. Like you can leave it and then go back in the bottom right, and then later you can even come in over here and just destroy your opponent's points. But a 3-3 actually encourages your opponent to make thickness and attack you with it. But either way, I think both players have a very, very strange opening because neither player is playing basic Josekis or basic opening strategies. So for future reference, let's go over the basic opening theories, and we're just going to go through these quickly. You can look them up on the website if you need to later, or look through the lectures I have on the YouTube channel. But the basic theories are open corner. For opening, it's open corner, open side, and then the center's last. And then for where to play in the open corners and open sides, it's third line for security and points, and fourth line for development and influence. So normally the opening is in the third and fourth line, and open corners, open sides. But make sure you do not forget the basic questions. Question 1, where's my weaknesses? Fix the weaknesses first before moving on. Question 2, where's my opponent's weaknesses? Take advantage of your opponent's weaknesses in Sente if you can, and then move on. And then question 3, where's the big move, like the open corners, open sides? So make sure you guys fully understand that, because it looks like neither player has a good understanding of how to play in the opening or what the basic Josekis are. And Josekis are Josekis for a reason. Josekis are considered Josekis because pro players have researched, found the best variations, and played them in their games. And they're considered Josekis because pro players play them and have played the best variations, and those are usually theoretically the best variations you can come up with in the corner. So since Josekis you can easily look up and study, and they're as good as a pro's open variations, then it's good to just play Josekis and learn Josekis, so that way you can just simply play them in the opening. There's thousands of Josekis though, so it's not just one Joseki is better than the other. It's actually about making good combinations with your Josekis, like making one Joseki work with another in order to make a large influential side or something like that. And then of course punishing your opponent's overplay. So here we can see again, you're on your opponent's side. Normally the idea would be to play on the third line, and you can actually play here to kind of pincer your opponent here, pincer white, and put a lot of pressure on white. So you can see, I think both players really need to get a grasp on those basic questions and basic openings, because we're only 19 moves in and I've already had a lot of things to say. So I think both players need to work on the opening quite a bit. Don't play this type of shape. White, normally you need a base first, so make the base, fix your weakness first, and then make a base. And then when your opponent comes down, make the base in the corner, stuff like that. All right, so it looks like that's quite a bit of information. I know it's only 19 moves, but there's a lot of mistakes already, guys. So I think fix those first. Don't worry, when these types of videos, you don't want to overload yourself. These are supposed to be like quick little tips and tricks and ideas for improving your game. If you can learn one or two things from each video, then that's good enough. And I think from this video, you can easily learn that at your guys' level, just learn some Josekis and some opening combinations, and you will be so much better than your opponent, because if either player had a good combination in this opening or a solid position in this opening, they would easily be ahead because the opponent has so many weaknesses. There's so many weaknesses all over the board. I think get rid of those first, and once you get rid of those, then submit another game and we can take it another step from there. But one step at a time. I think step one is learn the openings, learn the Joseki, fix your weaknesses, and start working on combinations. Just start the opening. Just get some basic opening ideas down and opening variations down, and then we can move on from there. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.